Here we are on Lago di Garda, arguably one of the most beautiful lakes in the world in terms of position and the surrounding countryside. But from our point of view, it's also a splendid lake to sail on, whether that's with a sail or an engine.
Questa è la nautica Feltrinelli con la darsena, la clubhouse.
This is the Feltrinelli boatyard with its clubhouse, apartments and all the services you need for a charter. Well, everything you need to feel like a pampered sailor, really.
Questa è una base fondamentale anche per il
This is a base for the Austrian boatyard Frauscher too. In fact, the Feltrinelli brothers have collaborated with them in their motorboat research and development for many years. At the clubhouse right now, there are two 747 models, the Mirage and the Mirage Air. On the bench there is Dino Feltrinelli, the very same Dino I duelled with on the lake the last time we were here. Judging by his look, I don't think it's going to be very easy for me today either. Dino is a pilot, a mechanic and a co-pilot, but one who knows what he wants and who loves his creations, and maybe doesn't appreciate it if I mistreat them. Not all of these 747s have the same lines. They're like the Aventador Lamborghini or the MV Augusta Brutale. You can't compare them to anything else. Look at that shape. Studio Kiska and Thomas Gerzer designed them. The waterlines, though, are by Harry Meisbauer. Did you see the sharp bow? Even if the water was as hard as cement, it would just slice through it.
Vista dall'alto questa barca sembra una freccia.
Seen from above, this boat seems like an arrow, like the play button on a video recorder. Play? Because we're in pause right now. Play.
Anzi.
No, forward. Well, actually, fast forward.
Su questo esemplare abbiamo un motore Mercruiser da 5,7
On this model, the 35 Mag EGT, we've got a Mercruiser 5.7-litre V8 engine with electronic multi-point injection.
Se volete più potenza, potete arrivare.
If you want more power, you can get up to 430 horsepower. It's called the 747 because it's 747 centimetres long, and it's only 251 centimetres wide, and only weighs 1,750 kilograms. You can transport it on a trailer.
Questa versione si chiama 747 Mirage.
This version is called the 747 Mirage, and under the foredeck there's a mattress, a shelter, and a locker.
C'è anche la versione Mirage.
There's even the Mirage Air version, which is completely open.
Ora basta però, mi sono stufato.
That's enough though. I want to know why he's constantly at the aft. Dino, why are you following me? So you can try this.
Dino ha ragione.
Dino's not wrong. This is the novelty of the 747 Mirage Air.
Avete presente le auto sportive, quelle con I pneumatici ribassati?
You know the sporty cars with the lowered tyres, the rigid structure? Well, that's what Frauscher feels like, thanks to its deep V, both at the bow and centre boat, obviously in the right perspective. We aren't on the asphalt of the racetrack here. It's all a bit more fluid here.
Su questo modello il
On this model, the windscreen is a little smaller, but I like hearing the wind here. It gives me the feeling of speed, like a Alpha Spider.
plana subito.
It planes immediately at 2,000 revs and 11 knots.
E ora una mano sul
But
timone.
now, with a hand on the rudder and the other on the lever, I'm going to try it out above cruising speed.
Rispetto all'altra versione, quella con la
In respect to the other version with the pointed bow, this has a better structure.
forse dipende
Maybe it
dal peso.
depends on the weight. There's a little more here which is closer to the bow,
In questa maniera corre parallela alla
like it's running closer to the surface. Then, with the trim, I can raise the bow and go faster.
Guardate che meraviglia! 20 nodi, 2500 giri.
Look at this wonderful 20 knots and 2,500 revs a minute. I can sail for hours at this speed, and it would be very pleasant. It feels like the lake goes on forever. I can't wait to discover all of it. Shame I don't have time today.
A 3000 giri è il momento di cominciare ad alzare il trim.
At 3,000 revs, now's the time to raise the trim to give the boat a little more stability. Sailing with just the stern section means reducing the hydrodynamic resistance, consuming less and going faster.
L'ho paragonata a un'auto e a una moto molto cattive. Ma lei, questo Mirage,
I likened it to a car and a very fast bike, but let's see just how wicked this Mirage 747 is when we go full throttle.
ha preso tutti i giri, 5000! Dedica è quella giusta e la velocità?
The propeller has taken all 5,000 revs, which is only right. The speed is at 43 knots, even a little more.
Ok, merita l'appellativo di sportiva, ma mettiamoci una...
Okay, it merits being called a sports boat, but if we put it at a cruising 4,000 revs, let's see what speed we get.
34 nodi, non c'è che dire.
34 knots. There's nothing else to say except that it's definitely a boat to have fun on.
E poi potete usarla in maniera molto rilassata, facendo delle virate dolci, piacevoli.
And then you can use it to relax on too, doing gentle turns, with nice wakes that don't frighten the girlfriend or the friends you've got on board.
Oppure potete decidere di essere molto più aggressivi.
Or you can decide to be very aggressive and make bigger wakes, as big as the spin will let you. You're only seeing the sky, right? That's because we're on a slant.
Ok, c'è tutto. Manovrabilità, velocità, ma questo
Okay, it's very easy to maneuver and fast, but do these two things marry well together? I want to say that holding to the route as well as our safety is guaranteed, even when it's pushed to the max. Shall we see?
Ok, ci portiamo al massimo regime.
Right, we're taking it to the maximum regime, so that means maximum speed. We're going to give it all the trim, which means maximum instability.
E come vedete, tiene benissimo la rotta, non sto correggendo il timone.
And as you can see, we're still on course. I'm not correcting the rudder. I set off with this hill that finishes up in the water, and I'm not having to move it at all. And that's even with lots of wind and a few waves.
È
You
perfetto.
can see, it's perfect. I really like the structure of this boat.
Adesso però, senza buttare in acqua il cameraman, proviamo una virata.
Now though, without throwing the cameraman in the water, let's try a turn at this speed.
Ragazzi, stiamo virando a 70 all'ora.
Guys, we're turning at 70 an hour. Side acceleration is mad. Are you still with us, Samuel? What I'm saying is that there are things it's better not to do, but I want you to trust us on these trials. The Mirage Air version is identical to the Mirage, but instead of the bow there's some little sofas that make up a living area or a sun deck, depending on what you want to do with it. It's true that it isn't a refuge that would be too useful if there was a storm. But there's a little cover. The cockpit is organised for comfort and safety during navigation with these ergonomic armchairs, and a sofa with a rather high backrest, and there's a sun deck that can be made bigger. There's a fridge even. The hull is identical for both models, as are the walls, which are coned at the stern and show off the carbon air vents in the machine room. The hull for both boats have grooved channels which help performance. The edge is very fine and there's a reversible floor that changes into a useful runner which steadies the roll and manages the heel angle. Observing the details, you can understand the value of this boat and how it's being cared for in every step of the building of it. Every component too.
In navigazione mi sono piaciuti entrambi i modelli. Le prestazioni...
I like sailing both of them, and the performance for both of them was pretty similar, so choose which one you prefer, and don't let Dino influence you.